Hello, everybody. My name is Chris.
And my name is Jason.
And this is the Talking Dead number 65 for Monday, January 16th, 2011. It's been almost a month since we've been on the air recording an episode. And I gotta say, I really miss doing this. I'm glad we're back.
Oh, yeah, it's been way too long. It was really nice hearing that intro after such a break. It really got my blood going.
Really got you back in the mood?
Back in the mood.
Record.
Now it's episode 65. Really, is it 65?
It's 65. Now, that's not an enormous number considering the time we've been doing this. It's over 2 years now.
It's a retirement number, though.
Well, I suppose it is, yeah.
Yeah, you retire anytime after 65.
But we're not stopping.
We're not stopping. No, I'm not ready to retire.
Not yet. We have lots of more stuff to do.
You're going to have to put me in forced retirement. Hopefully with a nice package. Retirement package.
Nice package.
Gold watch.
There you go.
That'd be great.
Gold watch is what you need. All right, so we've got a huge show this week. We've got a bunch of listener feedback. We've got some Walking Dead news. We're going to talk about both Walking Dead board games. So we have all kinds of stuff going on. Before we do that, I just want to say something really quickly, and that is I'd like to extend a huge thank you to all of our listeners and just say that you guys rule. You guys are the best. We were off the air for about a month. We had a bunch of people on our Facebook page kind of asking when we were coming back and saying they miss us and saying how they want us back on the air to record more shows. And it really made me happy. It really made me feel good. So I just want to say big thank you to all our listeners. I think I said that before the holidays last time we recorded. So I hope everyone had a great holiday, whatever it is you celebrate, some time off, and hopefully everything is going really well for you. And thanks for listening.
Spend some time with some friends and family.
Exactly.
Come on back and listen about the dead walking around and fighting people and stuff.
And stuff. So there you go. That's it there. You guys are the best, and we appreciate you listening. We do very, very much. All right, let's get into listener feedback.
Listener feedback.
Right. So the first thing I want to talk about is our last episode was the review of Rise of the Governor. And one of the questions we had for the world was the pronunciation of the word foyer in places other than Canada.
Oh, yeah.
And we had a bunch of people post comments or post on the Facebook page or even just email in with the answer to that question. And apparently in the US people do in fact pronounce it foyer.
Oh, okay.
So there you go. So now we know, and I won't let it bother me anymore.
Oh, yeah, up here in Canada we pronounce it foyer.
I embrace the differences. It's what makes it's what makes all interesting.
It really does.
Right?
Foyer it is.
Foyer from here on in, it's foyer. There you go. So there you go. Thanks everyone for voting about that. It's good to know. And we got an email from Jason on Rise of the Governor, and his email subject is Rise of the Governor was meant to be read. And he said in the email, when a book is read to you, it is about storytelling, i.e. and then what happened. There were 3 zombies, he killed them with an axe, then got his brother. When a comic book writer, who normally has detailed pictures to provide context to every word or speechless frame, writes a book, he fills the book with detail. I read the book in complete silence for hours. Whenever you get excessive with details, the mind will make connections that will let you see and hear the story as if it was in slow motion. After reading the book, I couldn't stand the audiobook. Rise of the Governor, 9 out of 10. So he's saying there's a huge difference between reading it and listening to it.
Oh, the performance is very important in an audiobook. It's very, that's what a lot of the issues I had with the book could very well be attributed to the performance of the reader.
Yeah, you think so? Just him kind of overdoing it at times?
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's the problems I had could very well just be the reader, and if I had to have time to actually sit down and read the book, I may have enjoyed it a lot more.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would tend to think that the excessive descriptive nature of the thing would kind of bug me in your case, but maybe not. Maybe when you're kind of reading in your own mind, you put your own spin on it a little bit, right? You imagine your own sort of look and scenario.
I've had problems with reading novels as well. Where you just read something and the line is so blatantly bad, poorly structured that you actually say out loud, "What the hell?" I had a problem with the Tech War by William Shatner with that. Just the writing, I can't ghostwriters, but you can tell when William Shatner was writing. It's like, what the hell?
Jeez, you have ghostwriters for a reason. Use them.
Yeah, at least get an editing program to check for spelling.
All right,
That's a bare minimum.
Spelling. You get spelling problems.
Most books have spelling issues.
Well, there's usually one or two in the book. Yeah, it's a lot words.
I blame Bill personally for a lot of those issues.
I would. Have you heard his recent cover of Bohemian Rhapsody? Wow.
Well, at this point he's doing things on purpose.
I know,
he has made a career out of being a big kook.
My God, yeah, but it's bad.
Yeah, but okay, it's William Shatner.
I guess so.
Everything that man touches turns to gold. I swear to God.
Now he worked up to that.
No, he thought it was awesome.
I don't know about that. I think he hasn't gotten the Midas touch later.
No, wait, man, you still remember that the Twilight Zone episode he was in?
That's true.
He was 20 years old when he did that.
Terror 20,000 feet.
That's right.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
Well, that's not good because he was in it. That's good because it was the Twilight Zone and it was Rod Serling and Twilight Zone made
Yeah,
it.
but he's also got that touch just knowing what to do.
Okay.
Everything, even the bad stuff is good by William Shatner.
He's from Montreal. There you go. All right.
He's French.
No, still?
Oh yeah, he grew up in Montreal. He speaks French, man.
He speaks French, man. Well, I'd like to. I think, man, he is a Frenchman.
Hey, it's all good.
Hey, Shatner, if you want to come on the show and prove that you speak French, we'll do it.
That'd be great. I don't speak French. I don't speak
No, not even a little bit. Okay, a little bit. I got a vocabulary, but I can't say any sentences. Anyhow, we got a call from Dan in Florida about Shane reloading, and this is something we talked about before the mid-season finale, right? How many shots he fired. So I think you went back and looked, and you said there's no shots of him reloading.
No, but there was lots of cutaways where he had a chance to reload.
Well, here's what Dan in Florida had to say.
Hey, this is Dan from Florida. For your guys' podcast, we're talking about Shane and reloading during quarantine. Just figured I'd let you know that with a lot of the polymer handguns that police carry around, I own one myself, although it's not a Glock like he carries. They have high-capacity magazines, so they can carry quite a few rounds without reloading. I have one that contains 20 rounds, and the little 9mm bullets that a lot of Glock guys use tend to be very high capacity. There's actually long clips that can be popular that contain as many as 33 rounds, and while he didn't have one of those, he could have had a good 15 plus one second. Just figured I'd let you guys know, not really out of the realm of reality, we're going to have to reload and fire that next round. Thanks, bye.
There you go. It's in the realm of possibility that he could have that many rounds in his gun. We got a couple of listeners writing about that.
You know what I mean? 15 plus 1?
One in the chamber.
That's right. I always keep one in the chamber.
Right. So
especially in the zombie apocalypse.
there you go. So what's that? 15 to 18 you said or something?
He had any more capacity than that, and the magazine starts sticking out of the bottom of the pistol grip, right?
That sounds unsafe to me for some
No,
reason.
it's not unsafe per se. It's just, you're holding it down with this magazine that's sticking 18 inches below the pistol grip. It looks weird.
And I think it might be harder to sort of keep the gun steady because the weight is all off. I'm just saying.
I don't
know. Mark from New Jersey wrote in on the same topic, but he also wanted to explain that the thing that holds bullets is called a magazine, not a clip. Right? You always call it a magazine, he said. And he said that Shane's gun very well could have had that many bullets in it. I mentioned that because he also had something to say about when we were talking last time about the FCC in the US and how they regulate their TV shows, and he had to say about that.
Hey guys, this is Mark from New Jersey in the States. Just want to let you know I enjoy your show. Just listen to the last podcast as opposed to mid-season finale. A couple things I just want to give you some information about. First, you're talking about the FCC, which is our Federal Communications branch of the government. The reason that they don't have jurisdiction over this particular show is it's not broadcast television. They only control the decency rules for broadcast TV, but in this case, they need cable. So that's why they're really not having jurisdiction over that.
By any means, AMC, yes. But that's the deal apparently. They don't regulate the cable channels in the US.
Well, I know you can regulate a lot more cable channels. That makes perfect sense. I thought AMC was broadcasting this, and I guess it doesn't fall under broadcast.
The difference in broadcast, I think, is that broadcast has an over-the-air broadcast, whereas cable channels don't. Same as in Canada. You can get CBC and all over the air, but some of the specialty channels you don't. Right? TSN, the sports network, for example.
It's on cable, but it still has commercials and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's exactly. But in this country, the CRTC, which is our version of the FCC, does regulate anything that broadcasts no matter what. Right? If I'm not mistaken, I don't think I am. Right? Like TSN is governed just as much by, or say, Much Music, for example, is governed just as much by the CRTC as CBC or CTV or any of those regulating networks. And there's a big difference here in Canada between like what we call cable, I think, and what they call cable in the US. All of the major networks in the States, ABC, NBC, Fox, and CBS are the broadcast networks. The rest are cable. Right? Here,
Fox is not really a network.
Fox?
I don't think it's a full network. I think it's one of the specialty kind of networky type channels, but I'm not sure it's a full broadcast network.
No, I think it's a broadcast network. They moved into hardcore pornography so slowly that I didn't even notice the change.
Now, the only example I have of having the CRTC control stuff that's on cable in Canada is Much Music. They used to do this too much for Much. They never seen one of those. But a lot of times they don't play videos because they're just way too much to put on the air. Every once in a while they'll say, let me block night on Friday. Okay, we're going to play some videos now, and few expression advice. These are pretty hardcore, and so they'll display that point or play them. Sometimes even then it's like I can't do it. I just can't. Stop putting this on the air. So I think the CRTC has a tighter control over everything in Canada than the FCC in the States.
Well, that's the feeling I get anyways. I know they certainly regulate anything broadcast on TV or radio. They don't. Well, yes and no. I mean, they don't have the same control of the internet, thankfully.
We still have problems getting content.
But there are regulations that they have imposed, and they do have some jurisdiction over any ISPs, which is bad.
Well, whose fault is it that we can't watch American TV on websites? CBS.com. We can't watch the shows. Is that the CRTC or is that the FCC?
I'm not sure about that.
I think it's the CRTC.
Well, if I was going to blame anyone, I would say CRTC, but it could actually be the network. They have licensing deals for content they produce for one region and not another. Right? So, HBO, if you go to HBO.com, you can't do anything here, but if you go to HBO Canadian sites, I guess, you can. Right? So, I don't know. It's the way they structure their content deals, but it probably also has something to do with CRTC because they don't have to approve any content distribution deal in the
Yeah, they only have their policies as well.
We generally get imposed by the CRTC. Generally, so that's how I feel about them. Okay, another call. Jason in Pennsylvania on Otis and Shane's little mission there to get medicine for Carl.
No one seems to mention it, but this was, the whole Walkers in the Barn kind of storyline. Otis was the guy that was doing it. He was the guy that was gathering up these zombies before he was kind of off by Shane. But no one really mentions the fact that during that whole sequence when they went to go get the medicine that, you should come up with the best one. I mean, he walked along with Shane, just blowing brains away. Where did he go?
So Otis went with Shane, perfectly willing to shoot every zombie he saw, in the back of the head, but he's supposed to be kind of with Herschel and his whole non-killing policy.
Right.
What's the deal with that?
Well, I think that I think Otis was respecting Herschel's wishes, and I think that he was offing people he didn't know, or offing people that Herschel didn't know.
And you know what? I think he also probably felt very guilty about shooting Carl and was willing to do anything he needed to do to help.
Or he finally took the reins off. He's like, okay, now I can start shooting these things.
That's true.
Having around them up.
Herschel's not here. He can have some fun.
Yeah.
For a little while.
Yeah, for a little while. Goes around, comes around.
Yes, I guess so. And related to this, and this might be a bigger conversation to have at some point, but we all know that Herschel, Otis was the one who was wrangling zombies into the barn. And that's apparently why nobody in Herschel's camp on the farm knew that Sophia was in that barn.
Right.
But so if Otis knew, now his wife Patricia was the one feeding him. She was going in there every day or whatever to throw chickens in so they could eat. She didn't see Sophia in there.
There was not a lot. Oh, I know what you mean now. Okay, so I was just going to say there wasn't a lot of time between them showing up at the farm and Otis and Shane going off to to get the medicine. But maybe she was just throwing the food in. I guess if Sophia was a lurker, she's hiding in the corner.
Yeah,
she's not really one of those aggressive zombies. She's dead last.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I was thinking there was a couple of days. How long was Sophia missing before they got to the farm? One day?
No, it was a night there or something.
So a couple of days. And so she showed up at the farm during that time period. When they arrived, Otis immediately left with Shane, pretty much. And of course, everyone's panicking about Carl's. They don't talk about it. But then there was probably 3 or 4 days before the barn scene where she was going in at least once that we saw. Yeah. I'm assuming every single day for those chickens in there, but didn't see Sophia. I guess she was hiding in the corner.
If you were feeding zombies chickens with their legs broken,
Would you watch it?
Yeah, would you watch? Or would you just kind of pop them over a wall and get the hell out of here?
That's a good
I wouldn't watch.
Yeah.
I don't know if I could pour a bucket of slop into a bin and watch pigs eat. I like pigs.
at least they taste good.
Exactly.
But you don't watch me.
I'm not gonna watch them eat.
Yeah, it's a little bit
I'm not gonna watch them. If you throw a live animal in the pigs, depending on pigs, they eat live animal.
No, pigs don't eat live animals. Not really. Well, maybe they're starving. They
Or
eat
they're
they're starving.
Yeah, if they're you're very, they can't move. They're not great hunters, I wouldn't think, but they would eat whatever. You ever watch a cow eat?
I don't like the way cows chew.
They grind.
Yeah, I don't like the way their lips kind of flap together and I don't know. I got a weird thing about mammalian.
No, all the stories about methane from cows causing greenhouse effect.
Yes.
It's from their burping, not from their farting. Just so you know.
Well, they do. Don't they regurgitate their food 3 or 4 times while they're eating?
They outgas a lot.
Well, you know what? I don't blame them for that. It's just the way they are.
The cows are out in the field. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, exactly.
I suppose. Cows in the field. I burp.
You would. Of course, you wouldn't eat some grass and wait to get slaughtered for milk.
Well, nothing I know of.
Milk. Yeah, I don't think about
No,
that.
they do that themselves now.
Cows don't milk
Well,
themselves.
they go into
There's a
there's the whole thing. It's the cows when they feel like they're ready to be milked. They'll go into the barn and it goes through the milking process. There's no people involved anymore.
The machines are really rough though here, right?
Well, machines are they clean the cow and they self-adhere themselves and then they extract all the milk and then they clean the udder again and they clean the devices and it's all automated. The cows are just they go in themselves. You don't have to grab the cow and bring it in. The cows know full well when their udders are full and ready to be milked.
At least they're clean.
Yeah, it's all clean. It's all sterile. The cows like it. The people like it. The machines like it. I guess.
I don't see why not. Finally, David from North Carolina wrote an email to us on Carl and guns. This is something we talked about, I don't know, a couple episodes ago when Carl was doing gun training. David says, I grew up in Alabama, right next to Georgia. Still, I have no way of gun nut. I don't own one. And in fact, I think I've only fired one once or twice in my 33 years. Personally, I think you folks in Canada have the right idea when it comes to gun control. All that said, he continues, you can't tell me in the event of an actual zombie apocalypse, you wouldn't arm yourself to the teeth and moreover teach anyone old enough to make responsible decisions with a gun and how to handle one for their own safety. Now, I don't necessarily agree that Carl fits into that category, but it's kind of a side point. I think even the most anti-gun person out there would quickly become the last man or woman on earth types if their family survival depended on it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so
I agree with them. And knowing that Carl's not too young to learn safe handling. Like from the listener feedback we've received, 12 years old, learning how to handle a gun is a lot better than not teaching anything and being curious because a 12-year-old can get anything.
Absolutely right. We had a listener write in previously to tell us that kids that young or younger are getting gun training in certain places. So
Or at least gun safety training.
yeah, at least safety training. That's right. You might not need to learn how to shoot one right away, but at least understand that they're dangerous. Right.
All right. And definitely not the advanced class where you're
Not 12.
where you're yelled at and forced to fire under pressure because when the zombies are coming, you're gonna be under pressure.
Yes, you are. All right. Thanks everyone for writing or calling in. If you want to have questions or comments, you can contact us too. Stick around for the end of the show. We'll give all our contact details. All right. Now it's time for
The Walking Dead news.
Time for Walking Dead news. So the first item in the news this week is all about this big idea that Frank Darabont had for the season 2 premiere. So most of the information I'm about to relate comes from the recent Walking Dead panel at the Television Critics Association. I think it's something they do every year. So here's the deal. I've got a whole bunch of information here. I'm going to try and run through really quickly. So in Cool News reported first that Frank Darabont had a whole concept for the first episode of season 2 that was a little bit different, almost like a one-off episode that told a story related to what was going on in the show, but from a different angle and involving different characters, primarily our main cast of characters here. So here's the deal. He was going to follow a squad of army rangers who get trapped in life and try to survive as the city falls. And I got a couple quotes from Frank Darabont here in his message on coolnews.com. He said the idea was to do this with a very focused, you were there documentary feel, not going all shaky cam, but still making it a bit raw and grainier than the rest of the show. We start with a squad of maybe 7 or 8 soldiers being dropped into the city by chopper. They have map coordinates they need to get to and follow this group from the moment the copter sets down. All they have to do is travel maybe a dozen blocks, a simple journey. But what starts as a no-brainer scenario goes from quote the city being secured to quote holy shit we lost control of the world is ending. He goes on, along the way I thought we could briefly dovetail the story with a few established characters from the show, not overdo that mind you because it gets silly and too coincidental if you load too much into that idea. But I thought it would be great to veer off on a quick narrative detour to brush our soldiers briefly against the people we know. Picture our squad arriving, a man barricade where some civilians are being held back from leaving the city. It's a panicked, high-intensity scene and the crowd is desperate. And crowd of desperate people we find Andrea and Amy. The barricade gunners panic, civilians start to get mowed down by machine gun fire, and in this melee, the girls get pulled to safety by some old guy they've never even known. It's Dale. Right. So eventually all the soldiers are dead and the lead character crawls into a tank for safety, but ultimately dies. Frank Darabont says the kicker comes in the last moments of this episode. After the soldier dies, this squad lonely death in the tank, and after a quiet lapse of time, we do a shot-for-shot reprise from the first episode of the first season. Rick comes scrambling into the tank to escape the horde, blows that zombie soldier's brains out. Now Rick's trapped. Faye at the end.
Right.
So what do you think? It sounds like it would have been a pretty cool episode.
I'm glad I didn't do it.
Are you?
I think that having an episode that is mostly comprised of unknown characters would have been disjointed and a little would have been jarring.
You think so?
I think so. I think it would have been very difficult to.
I think you're probably right, and especially at the beginning of the second season after we've only had 6 episodes.
Yes, that's another very good point. Is that the beginning of the season, be like, what the hell is this? I was watching the show about these survivors, and now I got this squad of people, and now they're all dead. What's going on?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Like, it's a really cool idea. And it sounds like a cool episode, but you might need to do it at the beginning of season 3 or later on when we're more comfortable with our characters and storyline a little
I
bit.
think he's coming from a movie point of view, not a TV show point of view. But he's not thinking this as a second season. He's thinking this is a sequel.
Yeah, this is like Blackout Down, but
Yeah,
in Walking Dead
it's the same universe. It's just a sequel. You have some of the same characters. You have some new characters, different plot line. You're not following the same, same overall arc. So no, I don't think this would be a good idea. It's a great idea for a movie. Yes, and I think it's a great idea for a webisode or a series of episodes.
Well, it's funny you mention that because when this news originally came out, people were under the impression that this was going to be webisodes. Right? That got canceled because Frank Darabont was removed from the show. But then he wrote this clarification letter and cool. Said, no, this was our idea for the first season 2 episode coming back.
You think this is what everybody knows?
Well, here's what Glenn Lazar had to say about it. He said we always wanted to do it. It was one of the many ideas in the writers' room. It felt like business too far away from our core characters. It all happened under Frank's stewardship when he was showrunner that we moved off that storyline. It was never written, it was never budgeted. It felt like a stall. We have a lot of ideas like that, just the nature of TV.
Okay,
so he said that like it did come up, we talked about it, we debated it, but it never got off the ground, and that all happened while Frank was still working on the show as showrunner. It's not like they didn't like it fired and then they canceled this. Right, kind of thing.
Okay, that makes sense. I mean, even where you're developing applications, maybe internet or what have you, you spitball ideas, you come up with things, you go down a path, you try, you do proof of concept, you figure out, that's not gonna work. You go a different direction, you move on, you get fired and canned because you went down the wrong path.
Oh, exactly. I mean, I'm glad to hear that in the writers' room for this show, all ideas are welcome. That's true. Because you need, sometimes you can get the best idea by taking little pieces from all of them, sort of thing, right?
I read a story. There was a guy. This is going to be one of those. There was a guy telling the story about this thing. It was really good. There was a Canadian guy that was talking. I forget where, but he was saying he got hired as a writer for The Simpsons, and he was down there and he would write, whatever. He would write episodes and submit them, and they would be rejected. And he would write episodes and submit them, and they would be rejected. And he was feeling really bad about himself. Every time he walked on the halls, he'd run into somebody like they would say, "You're doing a really good job. This is fantastic. Keep up the good work. You're doing good work. You're rejecting everything I'm doing." But the nature of the business is that if you're submitting good ideas, you continue to submit good ideas, you're doing a good job. eventually one of them get picked up, and that'll happen. Part of his episode eventually got picked up, and he felt a little more empowered and good about himself. But even that idea is about him.
Or like I said, bits and pieces here and there might pick up. Not something as a whole, but right, a little bit might get into the show at some point. So just one last thing on this story: the soldier in the tank was played by a guy named Sam Witwer, who really is an established actor, and he's known for a lot more than just extra roles, right? Where he sits there and doesn't move, has no lines, and then gets shot. He played Crackdown in 11 episodes of Battlestar Galactica. You remember Crackdown?
I do remember Crackdown. I can't even recognize him.
Sam Witwer. That was him. He was in Smallville, Star Wars Clone Wars show, on Being Human, and he had a return role on Dexter. So he's been in a bunch of stuff. Man, and I think he was in the Mist. He's a friend of Frank Darabont. So the interesting part is they hired this guy for that scene in a pilot episode, knowing, or at least Frank Darabont had the idea back then, thinking I want to do something with this soldier, so we're gonna hire a guy who can actually act, not just somebody who can sit there and be
Oh, that's great.
So
What's his name?
Sam Witwer, W-I-T-W-E-R. So pretty cool, I say. But like you said, kind of glad they didn't do it just because it would be a little disjointed. I know you and I can handle it, but the mass sort of public might be like, what the hell is this?
Right, I just looked him up on IMDb, and I looked up a picture and I recognized him. Oh, that's him. Right, it just happens to be the picture of him with his shirt off.
Well, you would recognize the shirts off.
Well, I mean, it happened in Battlestar, right? They took the shirts off.
They did.
Jamie Denver, he was one muscly dude.
Sorry, didn't take it off your enough.
Well, I think I got fat.
Oh, that's right. You got fat.
That was awesome.
What's his name?
Apollo.
Yes, Apollo.
Man, that was a great show.
Okay, next item of news, Robert Kirkman on Zombie Speed. This also comes from the Television Critics Arts Association. And this quote comes from an Entertainment Weekly article. It says, there are rules about how fast a zombie will move, and whether a person who dies will then turn into a zombie. The writers know these rules, but you're not necessarily supposed to. It's something we're very mindful of, said comic book creator Robert Kirkman. The speed in which you turn into a zombie is based on your physical health at the time of death. Yeah. While it does seem to be somewhat random, we are paying attention to that. As for zombie resurrection rules, those remain to be seen in the show. Also, zombies in season 2 aren't getting faster than zombies in season 1, but they might sometimes seem that way. They get whipped into a frenzy for the meal close by, producers explain. Right. So there you go. Zombies aren't supposed to be faster than they were in season 1, which they sort of seem to be. But it does seem very subjective. You know, if your characters are injured going slow, zombies go slow. Right. Or if they run really fast, zombies go faster.
But that's like racing games. That's right. In some racing games, no matter how fast you go, the other cars keep up with you.
The NPCs always keep up with you. That's right. But the interesting thing here I thought is the speed at which you turn into a zombie is based on your physical health at the time of death.
So really healthy people turn into zombies faster?
I would imagine slower.
Well, Amy turned into a zombie pretty quick.
It took her hours. It took 12 hours more. All overnight. She got killed in the evening. She didn't turn into a zombie until it was like the next day.
Oh, yeah.
So at least probably 12 hours. And I would imagine she was young and healthy.
Right.
So just one of those rules. Finally, there's more information from the panel, and Glenn Mazzara was asked about what caused the zombie outbreak. And he has an interesting answer. He told this to Wrap.com. He said, internally, we don't know where the zombie outbreak started, how to cure it, or anything like that. We haven't really discussed it. We're more interested in the continuing storylines. He said the show's about characters and about them trying to stay alive, hold on to humanity, find a safe place, hopefully rebuild civilization. They're under incredible duress. It doesn't feel right that they would have those answers. And even if they did have those answers, what would they do with them?
I agree.
The writers of the show don't know or care what caused the zombie
I absolutely agree. I don't think they should know or care. I think it's part of the story.
No, it's not.
Even the initial zombie outbreak is not part of the story. Like, they're slowly telling it in flashbacks, but in graphic novels, started with Rick waking up and it already happened. Like, okay, this has already happened. I don't care about that. And it's ongoing. I don't care what the source is or what the reasons are for all this stuff. This is happening, and this is the story we're telling.
Yeah, well, that's the same in the show. Rick wakes up and it's already happened. We get flashbacks to before the outbreak, right? But not some during the initial phase of it, like Shane in the hospital when trying to get Rick. But no reasons are given. It's just reacting to panic or reacting to horrible situations.
And I like that. The story really is about the survivors, not about the zombie apocalypse.
So nobody should feel bad that these writers don't know what they're doing. And by that, what they're doing. I know. So ultimately, we're not going to find out what caused the zombie outbreak, even though they kind of hinted at it a little bit in the CC episode.
That was the most information we ever got on the cause of the source.
Probably ever will get. I'm going to say at this point.
Well, there's a helicopter in the beginning too. I still don't know where the helicopter's coming from. I don't think it was a mirage.
Yeah, I don't know, but that's not cause the outbreak. That's just something that was going on in Atlanta still.
Somebody knows something. I think we want to know what they know.
It's true. We'll find out. I hope. I don't know. They'll probably go back to that helicopter someday.
Or something similar.
Yeah, something similar. Another helicopter will go up.
Or they'll do something like in 28 days later, where they, or 28 weeks later, I forget, where they find the military people that are all messed up and screwed up mentally and try to take over.
That's 28 days. Yeah. Well, we'll more on something like that later. Before that, though, season 3. Here's some exciting news for you. I don't know if you know this. AMC announced that season 3 will be 16 episodes.
Hooray! That's a lot.
We've gone up from 6 to 13 to 16.
Nice.
They're if they keep this up, they're going to be approaching like regular cable TV show levels 22, 23.
Well, cable TV shows are probably going to come down to 16, 18 pretty soon.
Actually, true. They might be middle there. So 16 episodes. I mean, we'll have lots of.
Other parts of the world think we're crazy for having 22 episodes in a season. Really? It's just like, get to the point already. What do you do rambling around all these episodes? You got so much time on your hands that you really don't need to actually tell stories.
The Brits will do 6 and be done.
6. It's like, oh, that was great. Awesome. Thank you. Like, no, a little more. 12 is the perfect number. And 12 episodes gives you a nice arc to tell a really decent story.
It is. And if you're not watching them, if you're watching them on DVD or something, you can watch 12 in a week if you really try.
A weekend.
Well, weekend, yes. Not days like I do.
You might eat through a whole series in a weekend.
Eat through it.
Yeah, now you got the first season in the first weekend. It was great.
Well, Steve, we can do that. But watching one episode a night, you watch 12 in a week if you really try, right? So it's great. But Walking Dead season 3 will be 16. So we'll have lots of material to podcast about.
Last 16 and last 3 seasons, didn't it?
I think it did. And it didn't bother me at all.
No, that's a decent story.
And we weren't even doing a podcast
No,
about
we
it.
weren't.
That doesn't bother.
Oh, yeah.
So the season apparently will be split into 2 halves again, and no premiere date has been announced. But you know what I want to say right here? I'm officially announcing that the season 3 Walking Dead premiere will be in October 2012.
Sure, well, as long as the mid-season premiere doesn't happen in October of 2013.
As long as that's, I don't want that to happen.
It's only going to be 16 episodes in one season over 3 years.
Yes, that's not good. But if they're going to do the same thing, they're going to go from October into December, take 2 months off of February, and then run to April or whatever.
Okay, that's great. That's perfect.
I'm on board.
I like a break in the middle of the season.
It's not so bad. I mean, I could use a slightly shorter break. Like if the damn Super Bowl wasn't in the way, they could be coming back like this week or next week, and I'd be really excited about it.
You know, a lot of people like the Super Bowl.
I hear that, yeah. 1 or 2, eh? Okay, so Jax Pacific is a company that creates video games, and they're making a Walking Dead Deluxe Plug and Play TV game.
Plug and play.
Well, here's from their press release at CES, which just wrapped up this week. Walking Dead Deluxe TV games from Jax brings to life the show's action with a realistic pump and shoot shotgun controller, multiple levels of zombie adventures, and a variety of game modes. As with all of Jax's TV games titles, the controller simply plugs into the AV Jax standard TV and contains multiple games in each controller, and no additional consoles or software are needed. It will be released this fall, and we've gone back to the 80s.
We have.
I didn't know things like this still existed.
Well, of course they do. It's just there's a flash on the screen, and the actual the visual reader is in the shotgun, not the TV.
Yeah, I know.
So that's actually the way it works.
No, it's console.
So it's a console, but when you're pointing at the TV, and you see the little finger on the thing, the infrared transmitter is at the TV. The controller you're holding the receiver.
Right. Okay.
So it's not a remote control. You're holding the transmitter, and the TV is the receiver. It's the other way around.
Okay. Well, so be it. But I just didn't know these like games and controller things still
Well,
existed.
they don't. They're making them up now.
It's crazy. But I don't know. Maybe it'll be fun.
Well, it's coming back. Well, it's an acid watch. Look, I'm going to roll my right now.
As a side note, while we're talking about Walking Dead video games, remember Telltale Games? They were doing a Walking Dead game.
Supposedly.
Yeah. Well, it kind of fallen off the radar. When I was at New York Comic Con all the way back in October, there was supposed to be a panel that got canceled at the last minute. Well, now apparently the game's being delayed until sometime in 2012. That would be this year, but no more specific information is available. Their website currently listed as coming soon.
Yes, done.
Well, that's not done, but it's obviously some sort of serious holdup because it was supposed to be released in the fall last year.
Yeah, I guess they missed their deadlines.
I guess so. So we'll keep looking for info on that and let you know if we find anything. I'm looking forward to that one.
Me too. I want to play it.
I want to play it, exactly. Okay, next item. Triumph of the Walking Dead. Did you ever heard of this?
Well, for about 2 hours now, I don't know its existence.
It is a book. It's called Triumph of the Walking Dead, subtitled Robert Kirkman's Zombie Epic on Page and Screen. This is something I came across by accident while I was browsing Amazon one day. And I'm like, hey, what's that? I've never heard of that. And it is an unauthorized collection of essays about The Walking Dead, edited by James Lauder and published by Smart Pop Books.
Essays by who?
Kyle William Bishop, Arnold T. Bloomberg, Javon Singa. You know him. Any names I recognize? No. But if I'm not up on my sci-fi or horror writers, so there could be other people in here that you recognize. Now, I read the first 2 essays. Right. They're okay. They're interesting. I haven't gotten too deep into the book. There's probably 12 or 15 in here, so there's a lot more to go. But I just want to mention it because I don't think a lot of people have found this or seen it anywhere. So if you're looking for
what are the essays about?
Well,
why put a collection of essays from people into a book and then publish it?
cash grab. Yeah, I'm piggybacking off of the Walking Dead success. Now, in all fairness, I can't really say that in much seriousness because although that was kind of my first thought when I saw this, and when you look at some of the other books published by Smart Pop, it's all anthologies or analysis of other properties like Batman Unauthorized, Boarding the Enterprise, Farscape Forever, 5 Seasons of Angel, Fringe Science, all the TV shows, comic book stuff. Other anthologies edited by this guy. The Best of All Flesh. I don't know what that means. Curse of the Full Moon. So I don't know what those are, but there's I don't think this guy's ever written his own book. He's just put together anthologies.
So what you and me and Dave and we can solicit other people online to write a collection of essays and we bind it in a book fucking selling Amazon and make $1 million.
I don't see why not. So fair. Yeah, exactly. So the essays are just about The Walking Dead. One is called Bathos of The Walking Dead. Another one's called Take Me to Your Leader. So they look at characters, they look at why it's successful. You know, what about it makes it different? How it relates back to, you know, the pop culture history of zombies, things like that, right? And none of it was approved by Robert Kirkman, but you know, as I get deeper into it, maybe something interesting in here. The first two that I read have been mildly interesting. Nothing too revolutionary in there. The first one's all about how Walking Dead succeeds because it's about characters and they have depth.
Ooh,
So that's what I mean. There's nothing that we haven't really thought of before, but it kind of puts it down on paper in front of you in case you need it succinctly presented to you in that kind of easy to digest format.
That's fair.
So if you want to find it, go on Amazon, search for Triumph of the Walking Dead, and let us know what you think if you pick it up. Finally, in the news this week, we have a couple of upcoming episode titles. We know that number 8 is called Nebraska. Number 9 will be called Triggerfinger.
Oh.
Number 10 is Miles Out.
Why aliens?
No, M-I.
Oh, okay.
If it's Miles Out, it means you've exposed yourself.
You're out. Get out of here. For a whole episode to get rid of me.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I would feel honored.
That'd be great. I'd be dancing in the aisles. Okay, whatever alley I can find dancing.
Dance it. So Triggerfinger and Miles Out. Triggerfinger could mean anything. I don't know what Triggerfinger is, but who knows how that applies to the episode. Miles Out sounds like somebody has left the farm and is miles away.
Or Morgan's coming.
How do you figure that?
I don't know. He's on the radio. He's like, I'm 40 miles up. Here I come.
That's true. I like that. I like that. I think it's Morgan coming. Or somebody's coming. Someone contacts on the radio and says, yeah, we're 40 miles out. Be ready. Something like that.
Yeah. Or maybe it's Sterling River lost and they got the radio and it was the boat just offshore with the helicopter. And the helicopter was coming. Very similar.
What is that? Oh, the helicopter. Right. She parachuted off.
She parachuted down the island and then got hold of a radio and after exactly what happened. That's all the other people showed up.
That's true. All the other group of other people. The more other people. So anyways, episodes 11, 12, and 13 haven't been titled yet according to IMDb anyways, but 9 and 10 have. So let the speculation begin. Okay, Jason, that's it for the news. If you can believe it.
Wow, that's a lot of news.
There's a lot of news. We've still got a lot of podcasts to come. Like I said, this is a jam-packed show. We've got lots to talk about. After this quick break, we are going to talk about both Walking Dead board games to try over the holidays. So I don't know if I have a lot to say about them, but we're bound to have something. Every time I say we have a lot to say, we end up talking for 3 hours. We sure can. Before we do that, though, I need to thank our sponsor for this week. It's a new one joining the Talking Dead, and that is Ring Central. Ring Central delivers all the power of a sophisticated phone system with no hardware to buy and nothing to maintain. Ring Central takes the cost and hassle of communications, allowing entrepreneurs to focus on growing their business. We use Ring Central for our toll-free number, which is 1-866-433-WB. It's a vanity. I almost said it's a zombie number. It's a vanity number. You can choose your own. Try to get a number that spells something or spells your name or whatever you want. Ring Central has plans starting as low as $9.99 per month. If you head over to talkingdeadpodcast.com and click on the Ring Central banner that you'll see on the right-hand side of the page, you can sign up for your free trial and get 40% off your first 3 months. So it's a heck of a deal. I highly recommend everyone go try it and let us know what you think. Okay, The Walking Dead board games. Yeah, here we go. So over the holidays, there are 2 board games. We tried them both. We did the TV version of the game and the comic version of the game. Which one do I go first?
I think we should have a comic. I'll do the TV one first.
That's the first one.
Yes, yeah,
I'll play a few couple games. Yeah, that might straight. It was like a month ago. So the TV version. Jason, describe to people the playing mechanic or goals of the TV version of the Walking Dead board game if you can.
Well, very briefly and very high level, the game is sort of like a story, but with zombies. So you basically start off in the center, and the idea is to sort of story cross with Trivial Pursuit. The idea is to Trivial Pursuit. So you have to get the corners, the 4 corners, and then there's cards to collect the corners. You basically roll a die and you go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you try to get all 4 corners. You get all 4 corners in the back of the center, you win. That's not right. And there's one, so it's hard to say. What the winning criteria is.
You're the first person to collect each corner, like collect or successfully collect the cards. Is a card? Yeah, successfully complete the challenges to secure that corner.
Well, every time you stop, you have to succeed at a challenge of some kind. So it's usually you have to there's a zombie and you have to beat the zombie, or you die, right? And then once you get the corner, you get a card at the corner, and that gives you a bonus to survivability.
They're called encounters. Right, so you roll the die, you move 3 spots or whatever, and you have to you're engaged in an encounter. You draw an encounter card and just complete the task that's on it, and that, like I said, usually involves fighting zombies or sometimes other stuff. Right. So you and I played. There's the 2 of us. We played 2 games. Neither game lasted that long.
No, we died pretty quick, and we die, you become a zombie, and you actually fight against the other players.
Yes, interesting in this game, you can't play as a zombie. If you are killed, the game is over for you necessarily. The game's over when either all characters have become zombies, because at that point you're not trying to collect the corners anymore. Or somebody wins. Yeah, exactly.
So both games that we played, we both became zombies pretty quick after collecting maybe 1 corner.
Yeah, the first game we both collected a corner, and the second game you only collected 1 and I became a zombie.
That's right. And then I died.
And then it changes the dynamic of the game because once I became a zombie, I'm no longer with the corners, I'm going after you. That's right, trying to do it. Now I think part of our problem is there's only 2 of us.
I think that may be it.
You need 4 players for this. Otherwise, as soon as somebody becomes a zombie, the game is practically over anyways.
I was going to say this game is from number of players 1 to 4.
There was a solitaire version of the game.
Yeah, I never tried that.
Yeah, I don't know. All these weeks you didn't try
No, I
playing.
didn't try playing a solitaire version of this game.
Well, my feeling on this game is I did have fun with it. Like I kind of enjoyed learning how to play it and actually learning the games. It just didn't work with 2 players.
No, I don't think it does.
It was far too difficult to complete the encounters. We did complete something. Then you get an encounter where what was the hard one?
You had to roll 6 just to survive.
Yeah,
on 6 side die, you have to roll 6. It's
yeah.
so hard.
You can play cards to augment your roll, right? Add values to it or something like that. But there were times where you had to roll more than 6. You had to roll an 8 or 10 by adding up the values on the dice,
right? But
which is impossible.
The rules of the game are if you roll 6, you win. No matter what. So the whole, you have this card, you pull the encounter card. The encounter says, before you fight a horde of zombies, your target is 10. You're like, okay, well I have 2 baseball bats and a shotgun and a crossbow, so that gives me +4, and I have to get 10, so I have to roll 6. Okay, the chances of rolling 6 are 1/6, which is hard.
Which is really hard. But a lot of times we came across scenarios where you have to roll an 8 or 10. You have 1 or 2 cards that give you say a +1 or +2. Yeah. So you cannot actually roll that 8 or 10. It's actually possible to do it. The only way to complete that challenge is roll the auto win, which is 6.
Right.
Which is just difficult.
Yes. And you can encounter after encounter after encounter just like that. So even if you pull a red out of a hat and roll 6 once, doing that again the next time you move 2 spaces makes it increasingly hard to do. Yeah. And the chances of actually winning before you can get all 4 corners in a 2-player game seems to me impossible.
It is. And the reason I think that more players would help is that winning encounters or sometimes encounter cards just involve getting new cards or taking cards from other players or even giving cards to other players. Yeah. So with more players in the game, there'd be sort of more exchange of encounter cards or whatever they're called that you can use to adjust your rolls. Right. Which the 2 of us didn't really work that well. That said, it was fun. I could see how it would be a little bit more fun, especially if you had maybe 3 characters living in 1 zombie.
Yeah. There's also a team play option that I never really explored.
Hard to play team games on 1
It really is. It really is. Okay, I'm on my own team.
Yeah. So I can't really say with the teams whether it would be easier or not, but our experience was it was pretty tough, and we never got more than 1 corner each before the game was over. So there you go. So the comic version.
That's right.
It's a little different.
It is. It's a lot different
in that it's not a board like Trivial Pursuit. It is a big open map, and you can go anywhere you want. And the ultimate goal in some ways is the same because you're trying to secure 3 locations. That's right. They're not corners of the board, but there are 3 random locations on the map, and you roll the die to move. You roll that move? Or you always move 3 or less spaces. 3 less spaces. And every time you land on a space, every time you leave a space, you leave zombies behind. Right. So the board gets tighter and tighter with zombies. Yeah, it's really harder and harder. I had more. Well, I like this one a little bit better.
I like it better too. It was more involved. You had this card where you're trying to collect ammo and food and gas, right? So that you could get around the board. Ammo helped you fight the zombies, but it was loud, so you always have more zombies than you left. And the gas helped you zoom through zombies, and the food was for eating or not dying.
Yeah, the food was if you lost a fight with a zombie, you weren't necessarily dead. You just sort of take health damage. And the food was for regain that health.
That's right. You also have people with you. Yes. You collect followers, and if somebody died, the follower always died. Which I was kind of mean, really. I'm a survivor, and the only reason I'm collecting you schmucks is that when the zombies attack and somebody needs to die, I get the point on you, and away you go.
Right, but it's a good gameplay mechanic, I think, because better than the TV version of the game where if you die, you die. Right. Here you create a group. Those followers provide bonuses too because they have their own skills and things like that, so they can help you do certain things in the game as well.
Roll hats.
That's right. That's hats on after zombie heads or something. Yeah. But this one's more fun now. What happened in this one? You did end up dying, right?
I did die,
and therefore it only left me and the game was over.
Yes, right.
Even though neither of us secured the 3 locations.
Right. You're supposed to scout the 3 locations and find a good place to live.
Right, exactly. And one more thing kind of fun is that each player has a secret location. So there are say 10 on the map, which is the board, and there are 2 known locations and 1 secret.
3 known locations
and 1 secret. And you have to do 2 of the known ones.
You have to do 3. You can do your own, or you can do the ones on board.
So other players don't necessarily know where you're aiming for all the time, which was kind of fun. So yeah, I like this one. I can see us playing this one again. More players probably would help.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Get a little more action going. The game would take a little bit longer, and when you die, I could continue playing.
I believe this one is 2 to 6 players. So
yes.
you need 2 people. There's no solitaire version of this one.
That's right. Okay. So overall, I'd say comic version was a little better. Yep. A little more fun, a little more open, more involved, and a little to me. I haven't played a ton of board games. It was a little bit less like a standard board game.
Well, yeah, it's not like Trivial Pursuit or Story where you're just trying to get on board board, or shooting ladders. Yeah. It's like, oh, now I got all the way back here. Oh, now I'm a zombie. I got to fight you, and I got to go through sewer pipes.
Yes, it wasn't like Candyland, which I played a lot.
Nothing is really.
No, it's true. So any other thoughts on these board games? I say buy the comic version.
Yeah, I would say buy the comic version.
And get 6 people together and play it, and you'll have a pretty good time.
So what about the quality of the game, like the pieces and the board and stuff? So if you look at the TV version, the actual board was this rubber rollout mat. You remember that? And you could really smell the new ink.
You could smell that rubber.
Smell the rubber and the ink and stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas and it had it felt like it wasn't. I don't think it was well put together. Like, the cards didn't feel nice. The board was kind of weird with this rubber, printed rubber thing.
So you didn't like the smell of the rubber?
That's not a good thing for me. It's not enjoyable. Whereas the comic book game had this really nice, fold out, thick cardboard, kind of well printed playing surface, and you had all the cards felt nicer, had better dice. I thought it was much better put together. That's a good phrase.
Yeah, particularly the manufacturing quality was a little bit better. Like all the little pieces that indicated when you were hurt, you had a little bandage on that you put on your cards. They were all thick cardboard, and all that stuff was really nice. And I'll be honest with you, it was kind of more fun playing the comic characters just in general than.
Well, they had meaning because they each had their strengths and weaknesses. And you play this character and you get this bonus. Yeah, right. Whereas on the TV game, it's just like, who cares who you are? You're just trying to get around this board before turning into a zombie.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. So I think you're right. Although I'm not so sure you smell the rubber is a bad thing.
You kind of like guessing that new rubber.
Like gas talk in this episode. I'm one of those kids that used to kind of like the smell of the gas station when I was younger, so that has something to do with it.
That's why you like this.
Yeah, it could be. It really could be. I don't know.
You guys are tougher than you.
Yeah, but I don't have to go to the gas station and stand around and do
You
it.
just do it at your gas tank. You don't have to go to the gas tank. You open up the gas tank and you start huffing it.
Well, that's your idea. I've never even thought of doing that.
I'm from the soup. I know what this stuff is.
Yes, you are. Small town Ontario people.
Yeah, and when you go around town, you see a guy that everybody knows as Donald the Blue Sniffer. You gotta know this stuff.
That's not good for Donald.
No, when he was huffing, he was a mess, but when he wasn't the man's machine, he could carry 2 cases of beer, 2 full cases of 24 beer on his bike.
Like without a back or anything?
No, he just put it on the handlebars and he would ride. Two of them. Okay. Man's machine, but when he was huffing, he was a mess. I couldn't walk.
So lesson today is if you'd like to carry 48 beers on your bike, don't sniff gas.
Blue,
So
just don't have anything.
yeah, all right. Work out a lot though, because you're gonna need that energy for riding that bike. All right, that's it for Walking Dead board games. If you've got any thoughts, if you've tried them, let us know. Let us know what you think, because I think overall they're okay. Comic version's better, but I hear your own opinion. So give us a call or send email to talkingtopodcast@gmail.com.
Next week on The Walking Dead.
We're gonna do a quick next week or next time on The Walking Dead rundown here, because last night during the finale, I think of what's that show? Hell on Wheels. Yeah, they put out a new sneak peek at Nebraska. They did. Coming back. Yes, they did. I'm not gonna play it because there was nothing of interest in any of the audio or the dialogue. But I'm gonna describe it to you.
That sounds fantastic.
So it was released last night. It has Rick and Herschel in a bar having a drink, which is kind of weird. I guess they go somewhere. Nebraska. Yep. And all of a sudden, 2 guys walk in. One of them says, "Son of a bitch, they're alive." And that's it. So there's 2 dudes, and I got a good look at them, and then I went over to IMDb, and I looked at this episode, and we reported on this a long time ago, that we've got a couple characters listed. One whose name is Tony, character's name is Tony, played by Aaron Munoz, if you remember. And the other one, the character's name Hasla.
Hasla, yeah.
Played by Andrei Bachenko, who's a Russian actor. So there's a picture on IMDb of Aaron Munoz, and he looks exactly like the guy who's in the clip, so definitely him. Okay. The other dude, there's no picture on IMDb of Andrei Bachenko. Bachenko, I don't know, B-A-T-Y-C-H-K-O, Bachenko. There's no picture of him, so I wasn't sure. So I did a little digging. Wait till you hear what I uncovered. Big dig. I found his official website, bachenko.ru, and he does in fact list The Walking Dead amongst his credits. The website's in Russian, but there are Walking Dead listed there. I can figure that out on his picture. And he also links to an article in Russian about his involvement on the show. And me, being the genius I am, used Google Translate to get the gist of the article. Right. And here's what it said, which is spoilery, everybody. So if you're worried about that, you know what to do. Spoilers for the episode of Nebraska coming up right now. From the article, it said, thanks to the IMDb site, it became known that in the 8th episode of The Walking Dead, and I should mention that the grammar here is not me, it's Google Translate. Right. Which is fine. Yes. In the 8th episode of The Walking Dead, shown in February, will be a new character with the strange name of Hustle, and it will play a Russian actor, Andrei Bachenko. The role will be small. Andrew, Andrei, will play a character who wants to join a group of survivors, but the events of the episode, he is surrounded by 8 zombies. He and his patrons end up bitten. They may appear in future episodes, but as a walking corpse. So I'm gonna say that Hustle and Tony are both eaten in this episode. So they show up and are immediately dispatched. There you go. Richards. Yeah, definitely Richards. Yeah, so I don't know if that's been reported anywhere else, but I had to use Google Translate to find that.
Old technology.
I know, exciting stuff. And that's it. I don't know any more information about anything after that, but that's what we got there. If you want to see that clip, head over to the AMCTV.com Walking Dead site, and there is, and you find it on there. So there you go. I'm excited about that. Yeah, we're gonna see some real live people show up and say, hey, we're so happy to be here. And then
Named Hasla.
yeah, Hustla. That is gonna do it for this episode of The Talking Dead. I should remind everyone that our next podcast will be on January 30th, and it's going to be a prediction episode. So Jason, think up some predictions. And
Oh, I got some predictions.
It can't involve Tony or Hustla. Well, it can, but it can't be that they're getting eaten by zombies.
Well, I think that the wings are miles out for one.
You predict that they don't get eaten by zombies, and this information is incorrect.
I could predict that.
You're good. So we're gonna do a prediction episode. I'll come up with some stuff. Jason will. We're gonna do our best to have friends of the show Dave on, talk a little bit about Stranger, and of course fire out some crazy predictions. He's good at that sort of thing.
Sure.
And we've got a few listener predictions who have been sent in, but we want more. So if you want to have your email or your voicemail read or played on the show, please send in some predictions. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be for the rest of season 2. It can be for season 8 if you want.
There you go.
Doesn't matter. Anything you think might happen on the show. Predict. Of all the people that send in a prediction, I'm gonna randomly choose one to send a prize to.
There you go.
So
That's nice.
I haven't decided on what prize is gonna be, but it could be a poster.
Got some stuff in here.
We got some stuff. Exactly. Could be a poster. Could be a Walking Dead shoulder bag. Could be a Walking Dead tail hat. I don't know. Could be any of these things.
That was a Gilligan's hat.
Yes, that's right. It's a Gilligan/tail hat. So send in your predictions, and everyone who does, I'll put them on a hat, pull them out, and we'll send you something. It'll be good. Like everything around here.
Everything around here is good.
There you go. So that's exciting. After that, we'll be back for episode 8 to recap and do our regular episodes.
Fantastic.
Very exciting. So we'll look forward to that. In the meantime, everyone, if you want to contact us, please give us a call at 1-866-483-ZOMB. That's 9662. That's our voicemail line. You can leave your thoughts and comments there. You can email us at talkingdeadpodcast@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at talkingdead. To be honest, it's not all that active Twitter account. Much more exciting is our Facebook page at facebook.com/thetalkingdead. Lots of people seem to be hanging around there chatting and asking questions and so on. So head over there and do that. I try to get on as often as I can and just see what people are saying and respond when necessary. I kind of took some time off over the last few weeks, but what can you do? There you go. So by all means, contact us, and then we'll be on your
And or Corey.
one of the two. All right. So my name is Chris.
My name is Jason.
And thank you for listening. Until next time, have a great week and send in your predictions.
Bye.